Good morning and welcome back to the first Monday morning live of the new year. Thanks for joining us. Action packed is least to say the words. Yes, welcome back to Monday Morning Live. As you can see, as you can hear, and by the looks of the time you can tell, we're a little bit rusty this morning. So welcome back to Monday Morning Live, and I'm just going to hand straight over to Sophie, who is going to take it away.
But hi everyone, like Sandy said, welcome back to Monday Morning Live. I'm really glad to be back live. It feels nice to be back together and with everyone here. Now, apparently today is Blue Monday. I was reading this morning, the day of the year where everybody feels kind of like the lowest and the worst. So I'm hoping that today, Monday Morning Live, can lift everyone's spirits. So we'll start with our theme of the week and our snazzy new intro videos.
That's what I was saying was the sound never works in that one for some reason, but the intro video did just happen.
Great. So our theme of the week this week is going to be follow. So we're taking our lead from the gospel reading we heard at Mass yesterday, and we're going to think about all what it means to follow, who we are following, all that kind of thing. So I don't want to give too much away, but I just want us to think for a second about the things that we follow in life. So obviously, we know the one thing that we should be following. That should be obvious by the end of today's episode. But guys, what are some of the things that you follow in your lives?
Yeah, I was definitely going to say, I was going to take that little idea and just say, of course, if you're not following Shrewsbury Youth Mission Team, what are you doing? I mean, that is the best Instagram account in the world, so you should be following that. For me, that's actually a nice little thing to see, just stuff pop up, even if it's stuff I've made or stuff people have made. Just see little things that come up throughout the day. That's quite nice. So I actually would recommend following our account.
Yeah, so maybe we can think about the different like social media accounts that we follow, like especially in the last year I do a lot of scrolling. I wonder how many miles I've scrolled in the last year on Instagram. It's probably a lot. Definitely more than I've run.
Definitely.
So.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I've certainly followed the news far more in the last 6 to 12 months than I've ever done. I used to love reading the paper, but actually to follow the news recently has been really, really important for me. But also, I think also on like a practical level, following the road, just like following a road. Whether it be an intentional road, I know where I'm going, or actually let's just go for a wander and see what happens. But for me, the big one's the news at the minute. I'm always on the news. I've always got it open in the background because there's so much happening at the moment that it's hard to follow sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And then I was also thinking about like quite trivial things like people, well, maybe it's not trivial if you're a big sports person, but we're not in this house, but people follow like the football scores. You might follow, I don't know, I've literally blanked on any sport because like I say, we don't watch them. My dad would follow the rugby news, you know, all these different sorts of things that we follow. So hopefully we can keep that thought in our head. And speaking of thoughts, I thought we could move on to our thought of the week.
Again, the video worked, but there was no sound in that one. I don't know what I've done. Done something wrong.
Okay, well, that's okay. We can still do our thought of the week. So I thought it would be nice over the next few weeks to find a quote or like a little phrase that we can just hold with us throughout the episode and then for the rest of the week. So this week's thought of the week is one of Pope Francis's tweets. Now, he's somebody that I love to follow on Twitter because nice and short, always a bit of inspiration. So Pope Francis said about a week ago now, "We possess a great wealth that depends on what we are, the life we have received, the good within us, the beauty God has given us by making us in his image. All these things make each of us precious in his eyes. Each one of us is priceless and unique in history. So my thought for the week is, who am I? What talents and gifts do I have? And how can I use those for good? So maybe just something to keep in your head as we go throughout this week is that God has made us all in his image. He's made us all unique. And even though we might not have the opportunities at the moment to go out and use those gifts and talents as much as we would like, we definitely still have the opportunity to use those to make a difference to the world around us. So hopefully you can keep that with you. And I think we could possibly move on to our next segment.
For some reason, when I click my button, I hear the music, but it doesn't come through. Anyway, so, right, the next section is a challenge. So, as you can see, we're talking about follow. So, I went into my my hymns. Okay, so, Tom and Sophie, I have got in front of me 9 hymns. I went for 9 because I ran out of ideas once I got to 9. Okay, now, I'm going to give you a set of the lyrics from each of these hymns, okay? And what you've got to do, you've got to tell me, first of all, what the song is, okay, or what the hymn is, okay? So, you've got to do that by shouting your name, okay? So, Sophie, if you know it, you shout Sophie, and Tom, if you know it, you shout Tom.
Oh.
Yeah, well done. Okay, we got the gist, okay? However, if this hymn has follow in it, you've got to shout follow, and it's a double pointer, okay? So, if you know what the hymn is, okay, there's a point for the hymn. I'm going to give you an extra point if you can finish off the line that I've just read, okay? And then it's a 4-point question if it's got follow in it and you're the one that shouts follow, okay? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I know it's early. Okay, so the first one. You who dwell in the shelter of the Lord, who abide in the shadow of life.
Sophie.
Oh, go on, Sophie.
The eagle's wings.
It is, well done. And if you could finish that line.
Say to the Lord, my refuge. It's hard to do it without singing it.
Feel free to sing
Sing
it if
is
you
better.
want.
Sing
Feel
is
free.
better.
Everybody needs that at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning.
Okay, we'll call that 2 points because you managed to finish up. Say to the Lord, my refuge, my rock, to whom I shall trust. To whom I trust. Okay, I'm ready. This one, I'm not going to start with the first line. Number 2. Will you leave yourself behind if I but call your name? Will you care for cruel and kind and never be the same? Oh, have I got you? Oh, go on, Sophie.
Is it the summons?
Oh, she knows her hymns.
You know, it's quite hard when it's not sung. Like, now I've got Eagle's Wings stuck in my head and I can't get it out.
Can you finish for an extra point, Sophie? Can you finish?
Just give me the first line again.
And never be the same.
Well, it depends what verse it is.
Oh, however, I have to tell you now.
You found to reshape the world around is the only one I remember.
That's the first verse.
Oh.
Wasn't the verse I was singing. Anyway, we'll come back to that one in a minute. Okay, are we ready? Number 3. Now, I'm warning you, okay? I'm a bit older than both of you, and I'm into a bit more of the trad stuff, okay? The older stuff, okay? Are you ready?
Good.
Awake from your slumber, arise from your sleep. A new day is dawning. Oh, have I got these?
I don't know that one.
I feel like these are very, very traditional.
The last line that I was going to was for all those who weep. City of God. Do you not know that one? Awake from your slumber, arise from your sleep, a new day is dawn. No.
Oh, no, I know that one. I know that one.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
So that was one that we used to sing in primary school. Loved it. Okay.
Unless
right.
they're practical hymns from like 2002, then I'm probably not going to know them.
So just a reminder, okay, if it's got follow in it, you've got to shout follow.
Okay.
Okay, just so you know. So, number 4. You shall cross the barren desert, but you shall not die of thirst. You shall wander far in safety, though you do not know.
Sophie, but I'm trying to figure out if it's got follow in it.
I've not even hit
You've
one
said
yet.
Sophie now. You've said Sophie now. The song is.
I'm trying to sing it in my head.
Oh, you can't just shout your name when you don't know the words.
Be Not Afraid.
Be Not Afraid. Well done, Sophie. Tom.
Oh, and it's got follow in it as well.
Oh
Yeah,
my
but you never
I'm so bad
said
at this.
follow. So the last line, okay. What's the bit that says follow, Sophie? Just to really test you. I'll give up. It says, "Come follow
Well,
me."
Be Not Afraid.
and
I
will
go
give
before you
rest.
always. Come follow me.
Yeah. So that one was a follow. Okay, we're ready. Number 5. I don't think you're gonna know this one.
I don't think I know any of them.
Lord, you have come to the seashore, neither searching for the rich nor the wise. I've actually just given you the name of the song. Tom, if you want to shout follow, it might be a good idea.
Follow.
Can you name the song?
Ooh.
Okay, Tom, we just wait.
Come to the shore.
Oh, Lord, you have come to the seashore, Tom, sadly.
You see, I was close.
It was
I
a
close.
follow as well. Lord, you come to the seashore, neither searching for the rich nor the wise, desiring only that I should follow. I don't know how you don't know these ones. We're going to have a YouTube go and just like play
so.
these old songs.
I've got one song stuck in my head, which I think might be on this list. So
Oh, really?
I'm just hoping to get that
Right,
one
well, get
song.
yourself ready
That
then.
one song.
Number 6. The foxes have their holes.
Follow.
Oh, Tom, I think she might have just pipped you to the post there, pal.
That's the song, Tom, that we were waiting for.
Was actually.
Finish the line. The foxes have their holes and the swallows have their...
Nest.
But the...
Son of God has no place to lay down.
Oh, well done. And the name of the song is, Sophie?
Follow me.
It
It is.
Well
That
it
was
is.
done.
what I was waiting
That's
for
a
the whole
4
time.
That is what I was
pointer.
waiting for.
Okay,
And it's
next
been
one.
stripped from me.
Number 7. Oh, let all who thirst, let them come to the water.
Oh
I
wait.
know it, but I don't know the name.
Yeah, I don't know the name, but
I'm going to give you a hint here. I did it by the first line index, okay? Come on, guys, it's not that hard.
But Sophie, I'll go for it.
Go on in.
Is it called Come to the Water?
Well, apparently in the first line index it's called Oh, let all who thirst. But I'll give you Come to the Water. And can you finish the line?
It's something about labour without rest.
Oh, that's later on in the song.
Sandy, these are not from our time.
They're good. These are quality hymns, these are. Right, anyway, okay, number 8.
oh my goodness.
Okay. Though the mountains may fall,
Oh,
and the hills...
Tom.
Oh,
I
he's
was
got
gonna
it.
say
He's
Peter,
got
but
one.
Who knows this?
Go on, Tom. You got it.
The name of the song.
Tom, first line index. I'm on the first line index, Tom.
First line it. Oh no, what did you say as well? Oh my gosh. Oh the.
Yeah, keep going. You go to there.
the
Killing me
hills-
every time. Come on.
Oh, the hit. No. Oh my goodness, this is gonna annoy me. I could definitely finish the line.
Tell you
but-
what, if you sing it, we'll get the point.
Okay. Oh, the mountains may fall and the hills turn to dust, but
Get the love. Right, Tom, I'm going to give you 2 points for that just because you
Okay,
sung it
okay.
as well. Okay, well
Okay,
done. Okay,
right.
and finally, I'm going to be cruel here. Thou my best thought, by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy
Okay.
presence my light. Go on.
Be thou my vision.
Yes, that is correct.
Ooh,
Well, that's a
nice.
classic.
That's a good one.
See,
I like
there
that.
we go. Right,
we
okay,
go.
so you've missed a couple. Okay, so Sophie, you got the Be Not Afraid, and you got the Follow Me. Tom, I couldn't believe you were waiting for Follow Me and you missed it.
I know.
The other one we
Shocking.
missed was the Summons. The Summons has got Follow Me in it. Because the first line of the Summons, and it's now the reason I picked this one is
Would
it's
you-
one of my favourites. Okay, will you come and follow me if I but call your name? And I think as well, it's really important. Like, yeah, okay, Tom, Sophie, like, she won that, in case you missed
Wipe the
it.
floor, maybe.
Yeah, she wiped the floor with you.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so I'm not even going to read the points to you because it was that bad. Okay, so Tom, next week you have to improve for the challenge.
I think you need to give. I think they're very biased, these challenges, it seems. You need to give you chances, and you need to work with me here.
If you've been watching my YouTube for a while, you know I'm very competitive.
So maybe next week we'll have some proper hymns, okay? So, but that first line in that summons, I think, is really important. And especially when we're talking about Follow Me. We're called. Each one of us is called. I love the old hymns. I love the hymns that we used to sing at primary school. It's one of those ones that when you leave, you go out singing. But those words with the follow me in them, I think is really important to remember as well.
Great. So speaking of people who follow Jesus, I think it's time for Saint of the Week.
Is that the one that's called Highlight of the Week?
No, it's called Saint of the Week.
Oh. It's called Saint of the Week.
Have I got one of those intros?
Perhaps not. Anyway.
No, okay, we'll go for it then.
Saint of the Week, Tom.
Saint of the Week, let's go. Okay, so obviously it's Saint of the Week, and I've picked a lovely Saint of the Week who is Saint Martin of Tours. Now, this one is very special to me. If you don't know anything about him, we've got a little short video now, which hopefully should be coming up soon. Just giving a quick explanation of who he is and why he's a saint.
Saint Martin was born at the beginning of the 4th century as the son of Roman parents. His father was in the military, so Martin had to join the Roman army at the age of 15. He encountered Christians and was touched so much that he wanted to be baptized. A legend tells how he was traveling in the middle of winter to the city of Amiens, encountering many people who suffered from the cold. Inspired by the example of Jesus, he shared all the clothes he could miss. At the city gate, he saw a scantily dressed beggar shivering from the cold. Everybody ignored him. Martin wanted to help, but the only thing left was his military cloak. He took his sword and cut his cloak in half to share with the man. That night, Martin dreamed of Jesus, wearing the half cloak he had given away. It reminded Martin of what Jesus had said, "Whatever you did for one of the least brothers of mine, you did for me." Martin left the army shortly after he was baptized and eventually became Bishop of Tours. He was buried there on November 11th. The Feast of St. Martin is celebrated in various places in Europe with bonfires that remind us of the light and warmth charity brings. With winter approaching, the poor would go from door to door to ask for help. Even today, children go from door to door carrying lanterns and singing songs, hoping for some candy.
Okie dokie, so that was a little introduction to who St. Martin was. The reason why he's one of my favourite is obviously a bit of bias. He's actually the person I chose for my confirmation. So St. Martin is a prime example of what I think is a good way to act as a Christian, really. As you saw in a little video, there's a beggar on the side of the road, cold, begging, and obviously he has this big Roman cloak, and a very significant part is these cloaks were very, very expensive and very, very prideful. So if you wore one of these, you wore it with pride, and to tear it was it was against the rules, to say the least. And the fact that he sees this person and he tears his own cloak, gives it to him, I think is a really good sign of humility, really. But there's a really good, obviously, quote from Jesus who says, "When I was naked, you clothed me." And that's exactly what St. Martin does. And I think that's really important to think about. How can we go around and look after everyone in our lives? How can we also go out and help the people who are vulnerable in our society, who are maybe struggling to survive, or maybe the poor? How can we go out and help them? And I think a prime example is St. Martin, because he's gone around and given something of such high value, and he's torn it like it's nothing and given it to someone and clothed that person who was cold. So that's why I think he's my favorite saint. Obviously, there's a bit of bias, but I think he's amazing, and I think we should all head out and make sure we look after everyone, especially during these times. So that is my saint of the week. Oh, definitely. Definitely. It needs to. It needs to be an important thing anyway, because there's so many people that need looking after. So make sure you give up your cloak.
Figuratively, maybe not.
Yes.
Literally. Okay, so hopefully over the next few weeks we can bring you some different saints who can inspire us in our walk with Jesus. And if you've got any saints that you would really love us to share, or people you would like to know more about, then please just do comment and we will try to include those over the next few weeks. So now I know there's definitely a video for this one because I've seen it in the folder. So I think it's time for highlight of the week.
There was semi-sound there and I keep forgetting to unmute my microphone this morning.
Maybe by like March we'll have this down again. We've got out of the habit. It's been a long Christmas break. Okay, so highlight of the week. So I pinched this idea from a podcast I've been listening to called Abiding Together, although I'm sure the ladies wouldn't mind. And I thought it'd be nice for us to share one thing that has stood out to us this week or that we've enjoyed. So it could be something profound, but it doesn't have to be something profound. It can just be something you found funny or enjoyable, or it could be like a really big moment that you've had this week. So does anybody have a highlight of the week that they would want to share with our lovely viewers?
Are we going personal as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to talk about the little man for a minute.
Okay, go on, because we love him.
And this is going to embarrass him when he's 17. Okay? Going to the toilet sometimes doesn't really work for the baby. Okay? Sometimes it goes really, really well. So we had an absolutely hilarious moment the other day when he was sitting on my knee and he went to the toilet. Everywhere.
Did he have a blowout?
It was everywhere. It was up his leg, it was in his heels, it was in his feet, it was everywhere. And do you know what? It sounds daft. I say it highlight the week. We never laugh so much as we do when we're having to try and clean up after this. It's incredible. But I think for us as well at the minute, every week has a new highlight because something changes in the little man. However, I'll go back to the serious stuff now. And for me, a big highlight of this week, and it sounds daft again, it's like we've gone backwards to March, okay? And I don't know, everybody remembers the big lockdown of March and that sort of thing. But I opened our window last night and it was really late and it was so quiet outside. And for me, that highlight of just the peace and quiet. And we don't live in the middle of nowhere. We live in the middle of a town. It was so quiet last night. And it's just sometimes, I think, for me, a highlight just that bit of peace and quiet, really. And so as we've also got ourselves back into the routines of walking every day and taking our bit of exercise, and that's been really nice as well. Just getting into a bit more routine at the minute. So the peace and quiet at night time is really quite cool.
Well, Tom, do you have a highlight from this week?
I do, and I'm probably stealing yours if you're going to see them, but my highlight was the Collective, which is a new group that we've started for 18 plus young adults, and it was just really good just to have a small little group of people who would just come in to read about scripture and everything, but also go along as a fellowship and all journey together. It was really, really fruitful, really, and it's just nice to see that people were interested, but then seeing the people actually come was so nice. And I mean, that was a great bunch of people, so I was really excited to see them there.
And it's not just like a bit of self-promo, we genuinely did really enjoy hanging out.
Honestly,
it was really fun. I guess normally you wouldn't be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll give up my Thursday evening to work, but actually we really enjoyed spending Thursday evening with our group. So if you're over 18 and you want to join them, please do come along. I think for me, my highlight of the week, lockdown, what we call this 3.0. I don't know what we're on now. It feels as though we've been inside. I feel as though it hit us kind of hard, we felt as though we were just getting into a routine and stuff, adapting, and then all of a sudden, the rules changed again. So rather than just kind of sit in a bit of self-pity, we made a blanket den the other day. Now, we are both in our late 20s here. We're a married couple, and we just made a blanket den because we needed to do something to bring us a bit of joy. So we brought all the blankets and the pillows that we own, which isn't many because we only live in a small house, and we dumped them all on the floor and made a cozy little spot, and we watched our favourite films all of Saturday. And it was really great, and it was so silly. We laughed a lot, and we took a picture and we said, isn't this funny that we're both older and we're making a blanket den? But actually it was just something that brought us a bit of joy on a rainy, miserable day when we couldn't go anywhere. So I highly recommend making a blanket fort if you're feeling down, because it really cheered me up, and we just watched all kinds of rubbish movies all day.
And but I do think something what you said there, like the first lockdown we did in March, the weather was beautiful, so we were out every day in the sun. It was great. Whereas now it is the weather's different now, isn't it? And I think I don't know about you guys, but it does affect us when it is raining. It's miserable. And I mean, currently, I know me and Tom are in Stockport, but I'm guessing Warrington's not much better, Sophie. Bit of a miserable day today. And I think that's why the highlights of the week's good, because it's like you got to look for the good. You got to.
Yeah, and again, if you want to share, if you're watching this and you want to share your highlight of the week, then please just let people know, because I think it's really nice to just share little moments of joy and happiness with people. Like I said, it doesn't have to be something profound, just something little that's brought you some joy this week. And we're going to move on now to our new segment, which is called Hot Topic. So Sandy, you can take this one away.
So I don't know what happened there, because that one got the music but no video. So this is Hot Topic. I get the privilege each week of launching a grenade right between Tom and Sophie and seeing how it explodes. And so each week we're gonna choose something different that's a bit, maybe, I don't know, you call it controversial possibly, but definitely something that's worth talking about. So this week's Hot Topic: follow Jesus or follow Twitter. Now, that comes from obviously me watching the news. We have to know there's been somebody quite high profile been banned from Twitter in the last couple of weeks. And I know Sophie's other half is background instant in America. Okay, so we're just going to have a quick discussion on this one, okay? So we all follow social media. We all follow Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and everything else. But do we sometimes get distracted by the things we follow? And is it sometimes taking us away from following Jesus? Tom, I'm going to come to you first. What's your thoughts? Hot topic number one: follow Jesus or follow Twitter?
Well, I'm going to be really smart about this and say follow Jesus, because I don't actually have Twitter. So, but if we'll say Instagram. But no, I definitely think, especially with the world we're growing up in, how big social media is, it's definitely a part of, well, to be honest, most people's lives, and especially with what's gone on with Corona, how people have had to move to social media, move to ways to connecting over the internet. I think it's definitely, in some respects, made a big distraction from sometimes what we need to really focus on. Because I think sometimes we get caught up looking at what everyone else is doing, and looking at all this stuff which is just put up on our phone, which is designed to keep you on and everything. Where realistically we actually need to take a step back, look at what we're doing, and looking at where Jesus comes into the social media. Does it come into the social media, or what am I looking at? Does that follow the right path and everything? So
what's really interesting as well, how these social media platforms, they almost canvas what you're looking at. So for instance, my Instagram thinks I'm a woman because I've followed so many different things for the baby. It actually thinks I'm a woman. So actually, it's taken me down one path that it isn't really where it should be. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. It probably doesn't help that I'm called Sandy. That maybe affects it as well. But I think also sometimes, it's like what you say, these can be used for good. But other times, I think social media can take you in a different route altogether. Sophie, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was thinking about two different things. So I was thinking about the first thing I do in the morning is when my alarm goes off, I then pull up my notifications, and then I spend some time scrolling. And in itself is not bad, because I'm catching up, seeing what my friends are doing. Like you said, my other half is American, so our family will send us text messages when we're sleeping, and we pick them up in the morning and stuff. So in itself it's not bad. But really, what's the first thing I should be doing when I wake up if I'm claiming to follow Jesus is spend some time with him. even if it's just like a quick morning offering. And like, I will hold my hands up and say that is really hard for me to do, because especially if your alarm is on your phone and then you pull it up and there's all these like notifications come up, and then you just scroll in and you think, oh, well, I'll just check these accounts and stuff. So I want to say follow Jesus, but actually like following other people is easier from your phone a lot of the time. So maybe something for me to think about is how I can make sure that I'm like checking my Bible app before I check my social media apps.
And I think also it's that challenge, isn't it? That even if it's not every day, maybe every other day. And it's so easy to sit there and just scroll through your phone. And I don't know about you guys, but we've got sick of scrolling recently. Like, for some reason, we just seem to sit and just do this. And I'm thinking, why am I even doing this? I think Facebook's might be coming to an end for me, that's for sure. But I think when we look at what's been going on in the world recently, the influence and the power that is on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all that sort of thing is unreal. And I think that's why it's such a hot topic at the moment, because there's clearly been some big bans made. But actually, sometimes it's good just to sit back and to take note. So yeah. And I'm not very good at it in the morning. I know the first thing I do is have a quick scroll through Facebook. But it shows my age as well, doesn't it? It's not Instagram. But anyway, so hot topic this week. Follow Jesus, or follow Twitter, or follow social media. But remember to follow SYMT all the time.
Of course, yeah. Good content.
Yeah, we have none of that doom scrolling. If you follow SYMT, it'll be motivational and happy. None of this doom scrolling where you like fall into like comment sections and stuff, which is dangerous at the moment. If you want to keep your spirits up on Blue Monday, don't go in comment sections on things at the moment, because that's a rabbit hole you don't need to fall down. So if we're thinking about following Jesus over following anything else, I think it's about time that we read some scripture and did some reflection. So we'll move on to that bit now.
That one worked. It worked.
Did we get it?
It worked. The whole thing worked there. They had music and we had the video.
Last one, we made it. Okay, so I just want to quickly read the gospel that we heard at Mass yesterday, because I think the readings from yesterday, obviously that's where we took our inspiration from, but they were really good readings for us to take a minute to sit and think about. So I'm just going to read this for you. The next day, John was there again with 2 of his disciples. When he saw Jesus passing by, he said, "Look, the Lamb of God." When the 2 disciples heard him say this, they followed Jesus. Turning around, Jesus saw them following and asked, "What do you want?" They said, "Rabbi," which means teacher, "where are you staying?" "Come," he said, "and you will see." So they went and saw where he was staying, and they spent that day with him. It was about 4 p.m. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of the 2 who had heard what John had said and who had followed Jesus. The first thing Andrew did was to find his brother Simon and tell him, "We have found the Messiah," that is the Christ, and he brought him to Jesus. Jesus looked at him and said, "You are Simon, son of John. You will be called Cephas," which when translated is Peter. So I think there's a lot of things that we can take out of that scripture. There's lots of different bits that you could focus on, and I wish we had time to, think about them all today. But maybe that's a challenge for us this week, is to spend some time with the gospel. So maybe take 5 minutes away from your doom scrolling and dedicate it to looking at the scripture that we hear on Sunday. But a couple of things that I want to pick out from that is that all Jesus really said in the middle there is, "Come and see." That's all he said to reply to the disciples' questions. And it was a really simple invitation, and it changed their life. And Jesus is saying the same to us when we ask him questions. Where are you, Jesus? What are you doing? He just says, "Come and see." He just invites the disciples, he invites us to follow him and to see all the amazing things that he can do. So I just want to take a moment to think of some of the ways that Jesus might be calling us to follow him. And where is he leading us from? And where is he leading us to? And another question to think about this week is, how can we invite others to come and see Jesus too? So the first thing that Andrew did was to go and find his brother Simon. And that's something we can do as well. We can't at the moment go out and, we normally see hundreds of students a week and we invite them to come and see Jesus as well. But at the moment, the only people that I'm seeing are my husband and my mum. But I can still invite the people around me to come and see Jesus as well. So a couple of things for us to think about this week is, how might Jesus be calling us to follow him? And how can we invite others to come and see Jesus as well? Okay, so hopefully we've got those questions in our mind. And I think we're going to wrap up today because it is the first one back. We don't want to get in everyone's heads with loads of information. That's a big thing for this year, isn't it? Information overload. So I think we will finish now with just a little silly video that we have tasked Tom with finding one for us each week. So it's just a bit of mindless nonsense. Not really anything to do with following Jesus, but hopefully it will make you laugh.
And so that brings us to the end of our first Monday Morning Live back. I am going to contradict everything that I just said a few moments ago. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Remember, a lot of the stuff we're putting out is actually about following Jesus, so that's my excuse. Feel free. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. It should have come up above me, but it didn't work either this morning. And we promise that by next Monday, we will have the technical issues sorted. And it will be much more slick. We're all a bit rusty, having been off for Christmas now. Sophie, what's the theme for next Monday?
Undecided yet. I'm just going to roll with it and see where Jesus wants to lead us for next week.
So there's an undecided theme happening next Monday at 9:30. We are very aware that the world's a very different place at the moment, so please do join us in these videos. Look back, if this is your first one, look back along the YouTube playlist. There's plenty of Monday Morning Live. I hope you like the new format. Each week, those little screens will come up, so if there's a particular point you enjoy, feel free just to skip along. You can watch the whole load, or you can just skip to the bits that you like. So we will try and keep them to the same each week. So we look forward to seeing you at 9:30 live next Monday morning from home. Have a great week, and we shall see you all soon.